You ever look at a test question, see a picture next to it, and just think, is that actually helpful? Or is it just, there?
Oh, definitely. It's a common thing. And that research you sent over, it really digs into that exact question. How do visuals actually function when we're taking tests?
Yeah, it got me thinking about performance, sure, but also just how you feel during a test. So our plan today is to unpack this, pull out the practical bits for everyone listening without getting totally lost in the academic weeds.
Sounds good. And the main source we're diving into is this really comprehensive systematic review. It's called Revisiting Picture Functions in Multimedia Testing. Basically, they looked at 62 studies.
62. Wow.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of data, all trying to figure out what these pictures are doing. So our mission, if you will, is to understand the different jobs these pictures have and what the research actually says about their impact on test takers, like, our listeners.
Okay, let's do it. So the review kicks off talking about the multimedia effect in testing. We mostly hear about this for learning, right? Words plus pictures helps you learn better than just words.
Exactly. That's the basic idea. And it turns out it kind of applies to testing too. Putting pictures in test questions can change how well people do.
But it's newer territory for testing.
Right. Multimedia learning is pretty well mapped, but multimedia testing, that's still kind of finding its feet as a field.
Hmm.
But there's overlap, obviously. Your brain is doing similar things, selecting info, organizing it, and working memory. So researchers use some of the same theories, like the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, CTML, or the ITPC.
Ah, ITPC, Integrated Model of Text and Picture Comprehension. Yeah, I remember that one. Doesn't it have that idea about pictures, like constraining interpretation?
Precisely, the constraining interpretation function. The visual can help pin down the meaning of the text, make it less ambiguous, stops you from going off on the wrong track based just on the words.
Like seeing a diagram makes the written instructions clearer.
Exactly. Especially for spatial stuff. The picture helps you build a more accurate mental model faster.
But the review stresses a big difference between learning and testing. It's not just absorbing info.
Right. In a test, you've got the question and the material, including the picture, all at once. You're actively problem solving with it right there.
And the goal's different too. It's not about helping you learn the material better in that moment.
It's about measuring what you already know accurately. And that's key. Because if the picture helps you get the right answer for reasons that aren't related to the skill the test is supposed to be measuring,
Then it messes with the test's validity, right?
exactly. It could potentially support cognitive processes that aren't actually the target of the assessment. It kind of clouds the measurement.
Makes sense. Like it gives you a little boost,
Okay.
but not for the reason the test designer intended. And they also mentioned motivation, like maybe pictures stop you from just guessing.
Yeah, there was a hint of that. Maybe reducing rapid guessing, making the tests seem less, I don't know, dry. But the main point here is we need to look at how these pictures influence performance, not just if they do.
Okay, so let's get into the different types of pictures. The review started with 4 categories borrowed from learning research: decorative, representational, organizational, and informational. First up, decorative. What are those?
Decorative pictures, or DPs, they're basically eye candy, loosely related to the context, maybe a cartoon character in the margin, but no task-relevant info. Zero.
Just decoration. So do they distract you? Or maybe make it less boring? What did the studies find?
Interestingly, not much effect at all. Across the board, they didn't really move the needle on performance, time spent, how people felt about the test, or even their confidence.
Huh, so they're just there.
Pretty much. Seems like they're mostly neutral, neither a big help nor a significant distraction. So the takeaway, don't waste brain power trying to decode the border art.
Right. Okay, good to know. What about the next type? Representational pictures. RPs. These sound more useful.
They generally are. RPs actually show you part or all of the stuff the text is talking about. So if the question is on levers,
The picture shows a lever, like a diagram in a science test.
exactly. And the review found these tend to increase performance. People seem to do better when they have them.
Okay, that makes intuitive sense.
And what's also interesting is they seem to boost effect. Like people enjoy the test more, feel more confident about their answers when RPs are there.
Really? Confidence too?
Yeah. And some eye tracking studies showed students actually spent less time reading the text when an RP was present.
Suggesting they're getting info from the picture instead.
It looks that way. They're integrating the visual information effectively.
Cool. Okay, next, organizational pictures, OPs. The review said the definition here is a bit different in testing compared to learning.
Yeah, it's slightly. In learning, OPs often structure text, like a concept map. In testing, they're more about providing directions or a visual structure for the solution process.
So less about showing the content itself, more about showing how to approach the problem, like a flowchart for steps.
Kinda, yeah. Or providing some visual spatial layout that helps organize your thinking to get to the answer.
And their effect.
Helpful. Also, generally linked to increased performance, similar to RPs. But the review noted this category is studied less often, and researchers aren't always using the term organizational consistently.
Okay, so maybe a bit fuzzier around the edges,
Yeah,
definition-wise.
a little bit, yeah.
Right. So we've got decorative, representational, good. Organizational also seems good, but less studied. That leaves informational pictures, IPs. These sound crucial.
They are, by definition. IPs depict information that is absolutely essential to solve the problem, information that is not available in the accompanying text.
So you have to use the picture.
You have to. Sometimes the picture is the only source for a key piece of data.
Okay, so these must improve performance then, right?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The findings are actually contradictory.
Contradictory.
Some studies show IPs increase performance, others find no effect, and some even found they decreased performance.
Decreased. How could essential information hurt?
That's the puzzle. And the time people spend on these questions is also all over the map. It strongly suggests that just because information is essential and presented visually doesn't mean it's automatically helpful.
Wow. So much depends on
Yeah.
what? How it's designed.
Probably.
And-
How the visual is designed, how well it integrates with the text and the question, maybe the cognitive load it imposes. It's complex. With IPs, you must process the picture, unlike the others where the text might be enough. The fact that results vary so much means we need a much more nuanced understanding.
This variability definitely connects to that other point the review made about inconsistent terminology. People weren't all calling these picture types the same thing.
Not at all. The proposed terms DP, RP, OP, IP weren't used consistently in the research they reviewed. Like, informational was hardly ever used by the original study authors, even when the picture clearly fit that description.
But they often used other words that hinted at the function, right? Like the table showed terms like useless for decorative or essential for informational.
Exactly. So researchers often implicitly recognize the functional differences, even if they weren't using that specific taxonomy. But the review points out that no single alternative system has really stuck either.
Which makes comparing studies difficult, I guess.
Definitely. A lack of common language hinders progress.
So it seems like the picture type is just one piece of the puzzle. The review also looked at other factors that change the picture's impact, things about the test taker and the item itself. What about the person taking the test?
Right. Moderators at the test taker level, things like ability or prior knowledge. The findings here were pretty mixed.
Yeah, not clear-cut.
No. Some studies found general ability didn't really change how pictures affected scores. Others hinted that maybe representational pictures give a bigger boost to, say, lower performing students or those with less background knowledge, but it wasn't definitive.
Okay. What about age?
Some suggestion of an interaction there. Maybe younger kids benefit more from realistic pictures, while older students might do better with more abstract or complex visuals. But again, the review says we need more research. It's tentative.
And it's not just cognitive stuff, right? Feelings matter too.
Absolutely. Effective motivational factors. Students who reported enjoying the test more or liking the subject more seem to get a bigger benefit from representational pictures.
That makes sense. If you're more engaged, maybe you process the visuals better.
Plausibly, yeah. Or you're just more willing to put in the effort to integrate the text and picture. Your mindset matters.
Totally. And you mentioned language earlier, like non-native speakers.
Yes, one study, just one, so caveat there, suggested informational pictures might be more helpful for non-native speakers.
Oh, interesting. Like the visual helps bridge the language gap.
That's the hypothesis. Visuals might be a more universal language in some contexts, but definitely needs more work.
Okay, so lots of individual factors. What about the test item itself? How does the question design influence things?
Item complexity seems key. Pictures, especially those informational ones, might be more beneficial for really difficult items.
But maybe not for easy ones.
Right. For easy items, they could potentially even hinder performance. Maybe they add extra cognitive load, make you overthink something simple.
Huh. So a picture isn't always a scaffold. What about the subject, math versus science versus something else?
Seems to matter. The impact of informational pictures look different across math, science, and programming, for instance. Representational pictures, though, seemed pretty consistently helpful in math and science contexts.
Okay. And then there were those slightly more technical terms, dynamism and modality.
Right. Dynamism is static versus moving pictures, like animations. Modality is visual text versus spoken text.
Did animations help more?
Some initial hints that dynamic representational pictures might be slightly better than static ones, but again, early days, needs more research. Text modality reading versus listening didn't seem to make a big difference for RP's effects.
And the layout, where the picture is relative to the text, integration format.
Yeah, and this was surprising. You'd think, based on multimedia learning principles, putting text and pictures close together, spatial contiguity would be best.
Right. Keep related things together.
But in testing, the findings were mixed. One study even found better performance with informational pictures when the text and image were separated on the page.
Really? That seems backward. Any idea why?
The review doesn't definitively say, but it highlights that maybe the cognitive processes in testing are different enough that spatial contiguity doesn't always apply or applies differently, especially for IPs where you have to switch between text and image. It's definitely counterintuitive.
Wow. And even tiny things matter, too, like how the question is phrased.
Absolutely. Question wording, response format, multiple choice versus open-ended, even things like adding highlighting to a decorative picture. All these little design choices can potentially influence how people use the visuals. It shows how tricky designing good multimedia tests really is.
Given all these complexities and the messy terminology, the review authors proposed a new taxonomy, didn't they? A
Yeah.
simpler one.
They did. Based on their findings, particularly the inconsistent use of the original 4 categories, they suggest simplifying down to 3: decorative, representational, and informative.
Okay, so decorative stays the same, the eye candy.
Right. Still the same definition.
And representational changes how?
They propose rolling organizational pictures into the representational category. The idea is that OPs in testing usually provide a visuospatial representation of textual information to aid the solution process. So functionally, it's a type of representation.
Ah, okay. So RP now covers showing the thing and showing the structure or process visually.
Basically, yes. And the last category, they tweaked informational slightly to informative. Just sounds a bit more natural, maybe.
But the core meaning is the same. Essential info, not in the text.
Exactly. Provides necessary complementary information.
And this new system is meant to be hierarchical.
Yeah. Function DP, RP, or IP is the primary layer. Then, for future research, you could add secondary layers describing other characteristics. Abstractness, complexity, dynamism, color, whatever is relevant. Trying to bring more structure.
Okay, that seems clear. So let's boil this down. Key takeaways for our listeners when they see pictures on a test.
Okay, first, if it looks random, like clip art in the corner, probably decorative, don't sweat it, it's likely just noise.
Got it. Ignore the fancy borders.
Yep. Representational pictures, the ones that actually show you what the text is describing, generally helpful. They can aid understanding, maybe boost your confidence. So yeah, pay attention to those. Use them.
Makes sense. Use the diagrams, the illustrations.
Third, informative pictures, the ones with crucial info you need. These are the tricky ones. Their effect is really variable.
Depends on the question, the subject.
How hard it is, maybe even you. So you absolutely need to engage with them, figure out what information they're giving you. But be aware they aren't guaranteed to help and could potentially add complexity, especially on easier items.
So the bottom line is, it's complicated. It's not just pictures good or pictures bad.
Not at all. Context is everything. The picture type, the item design, your own background, it all interacts.
Right. So maybe the final thought here is, next time you're in a test and you see an image, just take that extra second to ask, okay, why is this here? Is it just fluff? Is it showing you something? Or is it giving me a key puzzle piece?
Exactly. Understanding its likely function could really shift how you tackle that question. And maybe reflect on your own experience, too. Have you noticed certain pictures helping more than others? Why do you think that is? Does this research line up with your gut feeling?
Good questions to ponder. And this isn't the end of the story, is it? The researchers are doing more.
Yeah, the review mentioned they're working on a meta-analysis. That means crunching the numbers from all these studies statistically.
Which should give even clearer answers.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
More precise estimates of the effects. So it's an evolving area. More insights to come, likely.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a really insightful dive into something we probably encounter all the time but don't think too deeply about. Thanks for breaking it down.
My pleasure. It's fascinating stuff.
And thanks to you, our listener, for joining us on this deep dive. Hopefully it gives you a new lens for looking at those test images.